Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm taking a look at the 9th Doctor issue 8 of the ongoing series. I'm not the biggest fan of this cover. I think it's alright. I just don't like the look of the Rose and the 9th Doctor. They don't look that like who they're supposed to be, in my opinion anyway. But yeah, and also it bothers me that they're in space, but, you know, they're kind of just static and stood right, and that, you know, which is weird, because, you know, normally they'd be all floating around looking, and also why they don't have spacesuits, I don't know, you know, it's very weird. But down there you've got the barcode with the 8 and Titan Comics, TARDIS in the background. Why they wouldn't just be in the TARDIS, I don't know. Writers and artists and some of the people behind it, the Doctor Who logo, and then the Doctor Who logo and Chris Eccleston there. Then you've got the advertisement thing for a digital version of Doctor Mysterio. Yay! Doctor Who merch shop, BBC shop thing, Lethbridge Stewart book series. The fact that you can get these digitally, yay, or get offers subscribing as well. All the different Doctor Who stuff you can get via Titan Comics and some Sherlock and other stuff Titan Comics are doing. The other covers you can get, which I don't like this cover. This cover just really doesn't make sense to me. Really like that cover. Really like the holographic effect, you know, very reminiscent of the one used in the last story he was in. Advertisement for the terrible Torchwood series, if you ask me. Really like this cover, which is weird, for the next issue, which is weird because I'm not a massive fan of the photo covers usually. And I really like that cover as well, you know, with the 9th Doctor, but the TARDIS blending that into one is just superb. Little bio on next month's issue and that. And yeah, so official Secrets Even Part 3 of 3, writer, artist, colorist, letterist, so on and so forth, you know. Really, really good story, absolutely loved it. But on the front, or on the back of the front page, you've got the bio on the Doctor, Rose, Captain Jack, what happened previously, which I did read because it's been a while since I read the last issue. You've got Titan Comics website, Twitter and Facebook. Lovely sort of, you know, almost sort of old school, sort of retro-y sort of photo, sort of cover, or not cover, but, you know, blocks where she's remembering her past experiences and that. Really love that effect. And that. Love the Brigadier in this. The Brigadier is amazing, and just the interactions with the 9th Doctor, like, which bit was it? It was, right near the end, spoiler alert, but, you know, he's saying stuff about the fact that he let Rose into this sort of situation, sort of very tactically, like a soldier would, and he's saying, you know, the Brigadier's saying, I see a lot of myself in you, Doctor, and that, almost like a mirror. It didn't used to be like that, you know, and the Doctor looks like this, and it's like, well, you know, after the events of the Time War, kind of makes sense that he'd be very more tactical and very more military-like, and he hates himself for it as well, clearly, which is very intriguing and very interesting, because, yeah, having a character like the Brigadier interact with a Doctor like the 9th Doctor allows for a lot of interesting conflict of interest on the Doctor's part, and also a lot of interesting drama, really, because, again, we get him sort of being, like, annoyed about the fact that actually maybe he is like a military leader after the war, or he still has that sort of aspect of himself in who he is now after the war. You know, he still unfortunately carried that across in his next incarnation and body, unfortunately for the Doctor. I love these sort of villain-like characters, you know, these villains very, very reminiscent of sort of classic Who, you know, the old school sort of Jon Pertwee style. Really nice shot of this monster, and this massive monster and beast of a creature. I love the dynamic between Rose and Harry Sullivan here as well. I'm not too keen on how she's been drawn in some of the parts, that being Rose. Love this bit. This bit's where the 9th Doctor and Captain Jack are just having, for lack of a better word, a bit of banter, a little bit of jovial chit-chat, you know, a bit of a joke and a laugh, which is nice, because I think the 9th Doctor could be like that sometimes, you know, a bit humorous, but for the most part. I'd say 90% 90%, sorry, humorous, intense and dark and more blunt, with people and people around him, but 10% humorous and that underneath it all. Like this bit where he's got the comic book and that. I love that bit as well. You know, you've got video sequence bits, you've got more sort of, actually this might be the story and that, you know, sort of flashback type things. Bits with, you know, action, more action. Again, you've got bits, where were it now? The bits with Harry Sullivan and, you know, Harry Sullivan's character and Rose, you know, just a sort of pairing that you'd never see in the new series, or even in Big Finish really anytime soon, I don't think, which is a shame really, because these two characters, in this at least, interact with each other in an interesting and definitely, yeah, interesting way that I didn't anticipate, which, you know, made for a fun and interesting read, really. Again, I'm not too keen on how she's been drawn here. You know, she just doesn't look like Rose, but in other shots, in other panels, sorry, even, you know, she looks more like Rose, like there as well, you know, and kind of there as well, even though it's just that giant grin mainly that you can see. It's just so distinctive, because in my mind, you know, especially the series 1 Rose, she very often had a very smiley grin and that, and would bring the better side out of the Ninth Doctor for the most part. And I love that about her character, at least in Series 1. I'm not a big fan of how she went down in Series 2, unfortunately. They really sort of butchered her characterization for me. But with Series 1, I think Rose is so much more sort of gentler and more sort of, for lack of a better term, you know, more joyful and more sort of childlike, you know. She's more sort of innocent, you know. I know that sounds really creepy, but when I was a kid, you know, I just saw her as someone I could identify with, even though I wasn't, you know, someone who was exactly the same as her. I could still put my position, or myself in her position as the companion, even though, you know, in retrospect, you know, it's kind of weird, because it's like, you know, I'm not exactly the same as her character and that, you know, and yet I still found her really likeable and really relatable at the time anyway, in Series 1 at least, but then she completely went downhill for me in Series 2. But here, it's like rewatching an episode from the Ninth Doctor's era, which is the biggest compliment I can give this, mixed with the sort of feel and tone of a Jon Pertwee-esque story, or Tom Baker-esque, you know, unit story. You know, you've got the best elements of the golden age of Doctor Who with, you know, Unit and the Brigadier and Harry Sullivan. And then you got the best bits of some of the new Who, you know, new Doctor Who, you know, being Series 1 Rose and the Ninth Doctor. And the melding and the mixture and the combination of the two just makes for an amazing 3-part story. So I massively recommend, for anyone who's any bit the Ninth Doctor fan, this comic book. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe.